So sorry it took me a while, but here I am talking about the 2.10. I actually kind of stopped talking about updates a while back. I never shared this with you, but 2.8 was an update that I just didn't really like. And I know it was a huge update because of the MIDI. That's when we got MIDI interaction. We could use several machines at the same time, which you couldn't before. But it kind of broke my workflow a little bit. I have to say that having to arm a track to record in a track is really, it's kind of like against the MPC workflow. One of the great things about the MPC is that you can quickly put down ideas, just press record and tap on the pads. Now you have to arm the track before you hit record, which kind of breaks that workflow, that fluidity that the MPC is so good for. And I know you can work around it because you can go into the preferences and you can choose between single and multi. But even that, that's how I work in single mode. But sometimes I'm recording and just the track should be armed and it is not armed, which means I have to re-record everything. So I know I just press record and record something, and then I hit the end of the sequence and nothing plays back, which means I have to go into the track, arm it, and then record again. So it really breaks my workflow. And I said this in the past, man, I don't even use like 50% of what's inside the MPC nowadays because, you know, I'm old-fashioned. Like I do what I like, and I like chopping samples, and I like to record samples, and I don't do more than that. That's why I really love this update. And I was a bit scared at first. I thought, what's coming, like, because of 2.8, it really was something I didn't like. And when this update came out, 2.10, I was like, you know, what's next? What's going to change? I really love this update. I love because they changed the drum program, they improved the drum program with new functions. Anyway, 2.10 is out and we're going to talk about it. I'll try to be as quick as possible, try to keep this at 10 minutes. Yeah, but before we get into the drum program, let's have a quick look at these new plugins. If you go to the plugins, now we have the Odyssey, and if we go to the program edit, we can see it. And this is one of the things that I really like about this update. The visuals are much better right now. I actually know the hype because I used to have the Force, the Akai Force, so I know this one pretty well, and it's probably the best one that we have now on the MPC. So if we go to the program edit, again, it's not the best visuals, not like the other plugins. Then we get into the other plugins, and I'm just going to go through the visuals once again. Look at that. It really, that to me is brilliant. Just the way it looks, it's so good. It really makes me want to work with it. It looks really nice. I really like this design right here. And Akai Mpc said this in his video. You can do so much with a touchscreen, and I feel like they're just touching the surface. There's so much you can do, and you can make it look so good. For example, the step sequencer. I mean, I would love to work with this, but I just can't because, you know, I have to be jumping between bars. They could create a different scene for this, a different environment, and make it look good like the program, you know. So there's just so much to do, and this is a great use of the screen. You know, it just makes you want to work with it. This wasn't mentioned. I think it wasn't mentioned in the update, but it's one thing that to me is really good, which is track mutes. I've always wanted this feature, so I think it's new to 2.10 actually. And it's the ability to mute and unmute tracks. I'll explain it to you. Let's go into a track here. Let's get into the track mutes. So the problem with the track mutes before is that if you had a track muted and while the playhead was going, it was playing, well, when the playhead passed the MIDI note, And if you unmuted the track, it wouldn't play. So the behavior was, if you wanted that sample to play, you would have to unmute the track before the playhead went past the MIDI note. Okay, so let me get here to the grid view. Track number 3, I think that's where I have my samples. So you see that I have a MIDI note right there at the beginning. Okay, and that's on C. It's that one. See that little cool thing that you have bank B showing up if you change bank A? That's something that comes from the Akai Forest. It's cool to see it right now here on the MPC as well. Look at that. I have C1. That's my sample. Now if I mute the track, I'm going to mute it and then unmute straight away. You can hear the sample play. Okay? But before, if the playhead had passed the MIDI note, if you unmuted the track, you wouldn't be able to hear the sample. You know that was the behavior before. So yeah, now I can mute and unmute without a problem, and it mutes and unmutes without even looking at if the playhead passed the MIDI note or not. So that to me, it's a great feature. It wasn't actually mentioned in the update. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the drum programs, because that to me, it's the best thing about this update. Program edit, a new face. You guys seen it. This is not new to you. The update has been over a week now. I just love that they worked the drum program, because this is where I spend all my time, because I work with samples. This is where I spend my time at. One thing that I really love now is key detects. Really helpful. When you're layering samples together, it's super easy now to have two different samples, and you can easily see where the key is. And now you just change it to the other key of the other sample, and now you can layer them together. You can play them together. It's much easier. If we go here to the sample edit, okay, you can go here on the side and you have detect the BPM and detect the key. You press on detect and it will tell you it's E minor. I'm going to take just that small bit and I'm going to create a sample. It's that little thing right now. And let's jump on to the next function, which is the extend the sample, or the tail length as well. That's how they call it. It's the tail length. And you can change the behavior by the way it loops right there. And it creates a certain effect. Sometimes it's not super great the way it functions, but it definitely is a huge improvement. I'll be using this all the time from now on. And it's just super quick. Instead of doing all the things that I used to do to extend a sample like this, now we have it straight from this function right there, which is huge. We have a different thing, which is note off. There are applications for this. I'm not going to get into it. I'm sure you'll see videos on this. Along with simultaneous play, you'll find some fun things to do with this. I'll let Tube Digger, probably he'll come up with some crazy thing to let you know how to use that. One of the things that I don't like about this, unfortunately, is just you have to press that twice now to get to the filter. This is one of the things that I use the most, and now it's on the second screen, which I don't like it. Apart from that, the huge thing, and it's one thing that I really love, is to have the layout like that, to have the ability to quickly go and just change it. Like, this is a great use of the screen again. It's just, I don't need to tap that and to turn the wheel or anything. This is a great use of that. But now we have a curve as well. We can curve this. And again, improvements that I really enjoy to the drum program. Super good. Thank you, Akai. I love this interaction with the envelopes. We have a pitch. We have an envelope for the pitch. This is really great. I love using that. Let me get back here to a lot of people requested this for the 808s, to do those 808 slides. I don't do that, but I'll find some use for this as well. It's great to have it. Thank you so much. Let's keep on going. Samples, I forgot to mention this. Well, we have the same thing, offsets right here. And then we have this. Great. Love it as well. What it does, it just randomizes the samples. I find great use for this for the hi-hats. So I can just add a little bit. It will just humanize the drums. So I'm using this quite often now when I'm making my beats. I'll randomize a little bit the hi-hats so the levels shift between volumes just a little bit. And I'll randomize maybe not the pitch, or maybe just a little bit, because you do get changes in pitch when you're playing, a real drummer is playing. Depending on how hard you hit the drum, it will change pitch. So I might change that a little bit. The panning, might not use it as much. I'll use the offset, but the problem with the offset is that it goes both ways. And I don't like using it that much, because what it will do, it will go this way, which will delay the hits, but also will go the other way. And this way it will actually chop the beginning of the sample. And so I don't like using the offset that much. I think that the offset should just really be going in one direction, which is the beginning. Otherwise we'll be chopping the sample. But I understand that some people might want to do that. But use it gently. I'm not going to use it to extremes, just something very gentle to make sure that have some changes that makes it feel more human-like. Okay, so we've seen this. We got the envelopes, we've seen that as well. Now we have the LFO right here. There's not a huge change. All you see now is the curve right there. You can see the aspect of the curve, how it looks. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same that it was before. Just the layout has changed. You can't do much with this, so it is what it is. Stuff that we had before, nothing new right here. So let's keep on going to the next screen. The effects, yeah, now we can load up presets for the entire slots. So you'll have whatever you want, wherever you're working with, keyboards, synths, voices. You got some lo-fi right here as well. Apart from that, then we get to this screen, which to me, it's one of the most exciting things about this update. I love using like this, for example. I've been using it quite a bit. It just pumps up your kicks, pumps up your bass. I really like it. And then you have bass E, bass med, bass wide. I used to do that with the enhancer, the plug-in enhancer. Now I don't have to do it. Straight from the program edit, I can go here and just boost up my low frequencies on my kicks. You notice that we have a glitch. It goes back to the beginning when I try to move it. I think that's a glitch. Hopefully that will be fixed. But that's been happening quite a lot to me. We can have a high pass straight from here. We have a clipper. We have some drive. These are effects that we had previously on the MPC, but now they're straight available from here. You can't really change the bit crush. You can't change the decimator. You can't change the inside of that effect. What you can do is add some of these effects that we have here. Ring modulator. We basically have a bunch of these effects that we can now use straight from the screen. I love this thing. I would use this more for the drums, but you can use it for whatever sample you like. The only thing that I would add to this would be a bypass, just to check it and see if the changes are good or not. So yeah, that's it. I mean, like, the other huge thing probably most people are excited about is the USB connectivity to an audio interface. You can connect an audio interface into the MPC and use it as your sound card, so you can have a mixer. I see people actually buying mixers now to connect to their MPCs. So the update is amazing. Congratulations to Akai for always keeping updates coming. And sometimes I don't like the updates as much, but it's true. Like, they keep on making new updates and keep coming with new functions, new functionalities, new plugins, new instruments, and it's just great. If you managed to reach the end of the video, thank you so much. I know it took me some time to get this all in. I know some of you wanted to hear me speak on the 2.10, and it begs the question, doesn't it? Like, where is 3.0? Like, everyone was asking about 3.0, and now we have 2.10. I think Akai kind of pulled a fast one on us. I really want to see a new song mode. I think that would be the huge thing to me right now, is to have just a way to arrange the sequences in a more intuitive way, you know, a different way. I don't know, why not test that out on a new beta or see how people react to it. I would really love to see a new song mode. I know many of us would. I don't think I would be happy to see an arrangement window like the one on the Force. To me, it's not really my vibe. It's not really what I'm looking for. I would try other ideas, still working with loops, but on the linear way. I don't know. There could be some creative ways of creating a song mode. But I worked with the Akai Force for a little while, and it just looks like working on a DAW. And one of the things I really love about the MPC is that it's not a DAW, it's a sequencer with bars that you can work on a loop, which in the end you can work on a loop in a DAW as well. But it's just a different workflow, isn't it? And that's the attractive thing about the Akai, about the MPC. It's the way that it is built, it's the sequences and all that. So I wouldn't go towards an arrangement window like the one on the Force. It's not my style, but I know some of you really want to see that on the MPC anyway. I'm not the boss of Akai, so whatever they think it's the best thing, we're going to have to work with it. So, and I'm just happy that they keep on bringing these new updates. So again, thank you so much to Akai. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.